Okay, this question is on speed. All right, it's a little tricky. All right, but in order to find this, we need to have some unknowns first, and we need to have a listing of what happens so that we could see the picture better. Now, firstly, let T1 be the time for the first meeting, the very first meeting these two people will meet. That's because Tom is running in the opposite direction to John. Okay, but the distance that they complete, okay, should be paid close attention to. So the speed for Tom is 160 meters per minute. The speed for John is 200 meters per minute. Since they are spending the same amount of time, 160 T1 plus 200 T1 has to be equals to 400 out of 2. That's because the total distance that they completed will be half the round because they meet in the first half. So equating it, I'll get T1 equals to 5 out of 9 minutes. Now that is the very first meeting. To understand where they will meet again, alright, we'll do a simple listing. Alright. So for Tom, at the very first meeting, the amount of the track that he has covered will be 5 out of 9 times 160 out of 400. That's because 5 out of 9 times 160 is the distance that Tom covered in the first meeting out of 400, so that I could find the fraction of the track that he has completed, which is 2 out of 9. For John, he would have completed 5 out of 9 times 200, which is the distance, divided by 400, the track distance. So John would have completed 5 out of 18 of the track at the very first meeting. So if I add these two together, 2 out of 9 plus 5 out of 18, I will get half of the track, which corresponds to the 200 meters because it is 200 out of 400 meters of the track covered. Now, the second time that they will meet will have to be the next round. They will have completed another 400 meters. Right? So, by taking multiples of 5 out of 9, so I'll take 2 out of 9 of the track multiplied by 2 equals to 4 out of 9, which is the fraction of the track that Tom would have covered. For John will be 5 out of 18 times 2 and giving us 10 out of 18. So by adding these two, we'll obtain 18 out of 18, which is one full track covered. However, at this point, the total distance covered is 400, which means that they will not be meeting each other yet. They will need to complete another set of half a track in order to meet. So at the third point, that means the third multiple of 2 out of 9 of the track, 2 out of 9 times 3 will give us 6 out of 9. 5 out of 18 times 3 will give us 15 out of 18. Now, this will be 400 meters of track covered after their very first meeting. And this is the meeting point. Because in order for them to meet the second time, they will need to cover 400 meters of track together. So, the third time will be the third multiple of 2 out of 9 will, of what Tom completed will be the meeting point, the second meeting point. So what I wrote is, in the first case, they covered 2 out of 9 plus 5 out of 18 equals to half the track, which is what I mentioned earlier. They will need to cover another 400 meters, which means they will meet in the third point. That's because to complete another one whole of the track, it will be 1 plus 1 and a half. Sorry, 1 plus half, giving us 1 and a half, which is satisfied in the third time, the third multiple. 6 out of 9 plus 15 out of 18 give us 1 and a half. Since they'll meet in the third multiple, I can say that the time that they will take to complete, as in to meet the second time, will be 3 times 5 out of 9, giving us 15 out of 9 minutes. So with this time, the distance ran by Tom will be 15 out of 9 times his speed, which is 160. So his distance ran will be 266 and 2 out of 3 meters. Thank you.